So, I'll just move myself here. There we go. So, hello everybody, how y'all doing? This is another video that I'm making today. It's more so to keep you guys up to date with what has changed, and one fairly big change you might have noticed right now is I switched my environments again. I'm no longer using i3. Friendship has ended with i3. I no longer use it. I had a simple reason for why I don't want to use it, and the reason is that it's simply because I am a guy who likes stuff that is simple, yet I decide to choose something so bloated as KDE. Why is that? Well, the simple reason is I'm a customization freak. So I'm not saying that i3 isn't customizable. It is customizable, it just takes a lot more time and a lot more effort to customize things. However, I recently discovered the value of time, that it's like more important to save time wherever possible. So I don't have to like reinstall everything and just, you know, do something a lot more complicated. I just have a simple environment that's ready to go and I don't have to figure stuff out again. I figured, hey, let's just install KDE, see where it gets me. So you guys might remember my i3 config. It was fairly complex, it all did the stuff fairly well that it did. I am fairly happy with it, was fairly happy with it, still am. I absolutely love that thing. The thing is, it no longer serves me much of a purpose anymore. One of the major things that forced me to switch was actually some compatibility issues with certain applications. For example, some of you guys know from the live stream I've been trying to play some games, for example, and some games absolutely refused to run, and they just magically started working on KDE, which was really interesting. And also a lot of people make the assumption that KDE is absolutely bloated, which is not the case. So what we can do is we can open up the system monitor, which is integrated into KDE, and yes, FFmpeg, ignore that, it's going to use a lot of CPU. That's because I'm recording with it. The point is, yes, we're using 2.4 gigs of RAM, but you have to remember that we're using it to record ourselves, and we're using it to capture, you know, the entire desktop environment along with everything else. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, sure, KDE isn't the most lightweight environment I've ever used, but the RAM consumption is still better compared to something like, I don't know, Windows 10, for example. One of the major benefits of using something like KDE is that it's really similar and really familiar for Windows users, which actually makes a really big difference, believe it or not. Now, yes, the amount of processors might be higher. Yes, it may seem like it's using more RAM than my standard setup, but believe it or not, overall the RAM consumption is actually smaller compared to Windows, because I can have multiple apps open, I can do all sorts of these things, and yet not see much of a difference. Now, ignore the entire CPU thingamajig here. Again, that's because I'm recording, so that's why my CPU is going hell's Mary right now. But it's also to ensure that the performance isn't like claustrophobic. If you have a look over here, here are a bunch of apps which are like really low level, which don't use much CPU or RAM at all, basically. Aside from a few applications like FFmpeg using 800 megs of my memory, and that's the Splash Shell, that's from KDE, that's like 300 megs, that's fine. Overall, the RAM consumption without me recording, if you get rid of these 800 megs, you are looking at a fairly decent RAM consumption, believe it or not. That's even lower than Windows has after startup. Windows generally uses around 2.3 gigs of RAM. Well, the latest version actually uses up to 4 gigs now, which is unacceptable, and a lot of systems cannot even run it. It's actually using around 3.8 gigs of RAM, and I don't even like it as much. So that's why I switched to KDE. You know, it's simple for me, it's easier to adapt. Now, you might have noticed I have a different color scheme than the standard KDE install, and that's fairly simple to do actually. All you have to do is you go to settings, which you can actually go to over here. And all you do is you go over here to appearance and you tweak these things right here, only these few things which have some sub-menus, as you can see. So we're going to go into workspace theme. I had to download the Mirage theme, which is like really nice, a really nice theme. I absolutely like it. There's also a amethyst theme, which we could try and set right now. It may take some time of my, yeah, it looks like kind of more blown up, which I don't like, so I'll pick Mirage again. So give me a sec. There we go, we're back with the Mirage theme, which obviously looks more cleaner and I like it this way. So that's what I'll be using. There's also the Wimbledon theme and such. I love the Mirage theme, it's a really nice minimalistic theme. Then there's the desktop theme. There's a bunch of desktop themes you can use. I'm using Mirage again. This is for the widgets, which you can also enable, but I don't use any widgets because I don't want them. I don't even have any desktop icons. So that's that. When it comes to cursor theme, there's not much going on in here. I'm using the standard Breeze theme one. It looks fairly nice. You can still see it with the white outline, which is what pretty much matters. And a lot of applications actually default to this one anyway. For example, if I open up Lutris, which takes a little bit of time. I use Lutris for playing one game, but you can see it doesn't change. So that's that. Then we have the splash screen. I don't really use one, so I have it set to that. You know, because I don't really use one. I could use the Breeze one, you know, to make it look nicer. But it's not needed, you know, it doesn't change anything that's really like different. It's not that different at all. And that's for the workspace frame. Next we have colors. In terms of colors, I'm using Mirage Solid because, you know, it looks nice. It's a simple theme. In terms of fonts, I'm using the standard ones that came with the theme or the ones that were already picked out. I'm not really sure if these were picked out or not. I really haven't looked much into it. Then we have fonts management. I left it as it is. I'm not even toying around with this stuff because it will do weird stuff. Then we have icons. And in terms of icons, I hope it shows the selected one. It doesn't. Interesting. So pretty much I'm using the Breeze theme icon, which is this one, and it works fine. It looks nice. It's pretty. Then we have the emoticons. You can pick pretty much different emoticons. I'm using the Breeze ones because, you know, they're the standard ones. They look nice. They're like minimalistic in a way, and I like these. These are simple to do. So those are the icons. Then we have application style. In application style, I'm actually using the Breeze theme for the widgets, which shows you all these things right here. I absolutely love the Breeze theme. It looks really simple. Then we have fine tuning. I have it to show icons, but on the main toolbar, I don't want to show any text because I don't want that. Then we have window decorations. And you might have noticed that we have quite a few things actually in here. I'm using again the one integrated with the theme, so I'm not changing anything. However, there's one thing I did change. I'm using the GTK purple theme for the GTK apps, for the GNOME/GTK applications. Same for the GTK buttons. I'm using that. I use text after icons for the behavior. And here for the icon themes, I'm using Breeze with Mint X Purple and Mint X Purple. You know, just to give some sort of decoration a little bit more. And I absolutely love like how much they give you. I don't have much that I've changed. I actually got rid of this, displaying information of tooltips and displaying feedback status on changes. Because, you know, why should I have that? It's more clutter, which I don't need. And I have double click to open and single click to select, which is the standard one, and I would recommend that you set it to this if you are used to a more of a Windows experience where you just click singly and will like select and double click to do things. Other desktop effects, I made sure to get rid of pretty much all the effects. There's the background contrast and there's blur. I'm leaving these two on only, and everything else aside from flip switch is turned off. which, believe it or not, on my old hardware runs really well. And there was a lot of misconception in the community where a lot of people were like, you shouldn't even use this, it's clunky, it takes up a lot of space, it isn't efficient. Believe it or not, it runs really fast on my hardware. When it comes to gaming, I should have mentioned this, latency is actually lower compared to other desktop environments, so that's something you should consider. Screen edges I left pretty much as the default, but I set the activation delay down to 0 milliseconds and reactivation delay to 50 milliseconds, you know, to make it feel a lot faster. You know, see how the animations go over everything. That's what what I pretty much mentioned. We have the touchscreen swipe gestures. I'm not even touching on that. Yeah, configure screen locking. I have set it all to this, but I have disabled automatic screen lock, and then I have the require password after locking after like 5 seconds, because you know it's my computer, I'm not really taking it anywhere since it's my workstation. And in terms of wallpapers, I'm using the standard one that I created. I actually use it right now. In terms of virtual desktops, I don't really use them as much, even though they're quite useful, but if I found a reason for using them, I will use them. In terms of activities, there's not much. I have it set, however, to do not remember and to don't remember and to keep the history. You know, I have it set up like this. You could set it up for how long you wanna remember it. But if you set this down to forever and do not remember, it will not remember any open documents at all. Which, when it comes to privacy, might be something you might want to look into. And I think, okay, then we have window Then we have window management, and in terms of window management, I didn't change much in here. I left pretty much everything as it is, the standard settings. If there is something I need to do, I will. Oh, actually, here's one change I made. So you have these task switches, which you can set up by enabling this into the breeze section under visualizations. Pick breeze and you'll get pretty much the exact same effect as I have right now, which looks fairly nice. Kevin scripts, I leave these ones as they are normally. In window rules, I don't have any set up, so that's that. In terms of shortcuts, I keep the standard ones. I might change them in the future, you know, to make my life a bit easier, but so far I haven't found any use for switching or changing this stuff up. You know, it's something I like doing, so I'm just keeping it as it is. Everything is here the same as it was, so it doesn't really matter. In startup and shutdown, that's actually where a lot of the fun is. I left this at the default one, and under advanced you can have a look at everything that's in here. I would recommend that you keep the cursor style pretty much the same on each and every app, so it doesn't keep on switching the cursors around. In terms of auto start, there's not much in here. Background services, I disabled some of the stuff I don't even use. For example, I disabled Bluetooth and free space notifier, and I also disabled, hold on, remote URL cache notifier, we can get rid of that. What else can we get rid of? I'm keeping the keyboard daemon. There's input actions. Yeah, everything seems to be okay. I got rid of the touchpad, right daemon, status notifier manager, remove device, automator, removable device automator, got rid of that. Remote URL change notifier, got rid of that because I don't need that. Free space notifier, obviously don't need that. And Bluetooth, because I don't have a Bluetooth device, why should I have it enabled in the first place? So that's that. In terms of desktop sessions, there's not much. I kept pretty much the same thing as I used to keep normally in here, so I didn't change anything. In terms of the search, there is a few settings I changed. For example, we're going to go into your Plasma search, and you would disable activities, bookmarks, date and time, desktop sessions, dictionary, power, recent documents, software center, And spell checker, I have these disabled because I don't use them. Okay, we do not need the windows, obviously. The windowed widgets, because I don't need those. Web shortcuts, again, get rid of those. Can terminate applications. I want to keep it as simple as possible. And that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, that's enough. So you can apply these, and what you will notice is that if I start typing to search, for example, terminal, it will show every single app related to terminals and some links. But again, all of this will be applied after it all like reboots. So it's something to keep in mind. I would recommend that you tweak these settings according to yourself. I like these, so I'm going to keep these as they are, and it speeds up the process by quite a bit. And then there are some basic settings for networking and hardware, but there's not much that we should go into. I think in power management, yeah, I disabled everything in power management. Same goes for per activity power management, don't use anything, and advanced settings. I have it to pause media players when suspending, because if you, I don't know, go to sleep or anything like that, you don't want it to keep playing any sort of audio or music on your computer, therefore wasting more power. It doesn't make sense, so I have it set to enabled. And that's pretty much it that I've changed. I got rid of all the icons and such, because, you know, I'm more after this minimalistic setup, and that's it. There's pretty much nothing else to it. We can open up another terminal if you want to. So let's say I want to open up, let's open up NeoFetch and show you guys some stuff. So it's pretty much my environment now. I'm using these things. It works out well for me, and it looks fairly nice in my opinion. I spent pretty much a lot of time on this, but I think it's worth it in the end. It looks really nice. If there is a way I would like to change the colors, which there obviously is, but I am too lazy to do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I absolutely love KDE. I may consider sticking with this one, and yeah, again, there was a lot of performance improvement by me going with KDE instead of something else. And believe it or not, it runs fairly well on this old GeForce 8600 GT, which is a nearly 14-year-old card by now. Well, it's like 13 and a quarter, but still, it's a fairly old GPU. So yeah, on that note, I would like to thank you guys for joining me today. I'm going to edit this video now with KDE Live, which is my primary editor. And I'll see you guys hopefully in the next one. Make sure to stay safe, have fun, and share this around if you found it interesting. I personally like everything I made today, and I'm curious to see how video editing will go. So yeah, make sure to stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the next one. Peace.